If you need a simple email solution that lets you send hundreds of personalized emails to your employees, customers or clients, I've got something for you. I've created an Excel-based tool that lets you send bulk emails using your free Gmail account. With this tool, you can add attachments, insert inline images, personalize it with placeholders, and even include Excel widgets directly in your email. So, without further ado, let us jump right in and let me show you how it works. So here's the Excel tool. Each row in this sheet represents one email, and to send an email, simply mark the row with an X. Then you need to add at least one receiver. In my case, the receiver is also using Gmail, but that doesn't matter. You can send emails to any address. And if you want to send it to more than one person, just separate each address with a semicolon. Next, you can optionally add CC or BCC addresses. For my example, however, I'm leaving those empty. Alright, next, enter your subject. This can be either a normal text, or you can use placeholders and spin text to make it more dynamic. For example, the receiver's name here is inside double curly braces, and that means it's a placeholder. And now the tool will replace it with the actual name, and I will show you how that works in just a second. Besides placeholders, you can also use spin text. To do that, you use double square brackets with multiple options separated by a pipe symbol. And then the tool will randomly pick one of those options. So, using spin text and placeholders helps you to make your emails feel more personal and less robotic. And this is especially useful when you send out multiple emails. Now, in my example, I'm gonna send this email to 10 people. To do that, I will just highlight the row and drag it down to fill out the rest. And for demo purposes, I'm sending the same email to the same address. But, of course, in your case, you will enter your actual receivers. And if you want to include attachments, just place the file path into this column here. To make that easier, you can also use this button here. When you click it, it lets you pick your attachments. That could be multiple files, or in my case, I will just attach a single image. Once I select and confirm, the tool copies a file path to my clipboard. Now I can just paste it into the cell and drag it down for the other rows. Alright, now let's talk about the placeholders. There are three types: text, date, and range placeholders. But you don't have to worry about that. All you have to do is to define your placeholder tag here. And it can be any name you want. You just want to make sure to wrap it around with double curly braces. So my first placeholder is receiver name. Now for each email, I can set a value for that placeholder. That means the tag will be replaced with whatever value I put here. This could be, by the way, also a regular Excel formula like I did here. Here I'm using the today formula and adding 7 days to it. Okay, and with that, let me also show you a really cool feature. When you are working with Excel, you often also want to include an Excel range in your emails. And you can also do that using placeholders. For that, you just need to specify the sheet name and the range you want to include. In my case, it's the example range sheet from cell B4 to D8. So that means when you send out a message, the tool will now automatically detect that you have entered a range and include that range into your email. Okay, and with that in place, let me also show you the range I want to include. In my case, I want to include this pricing table here. Now, in your case, your Excel data might be in a separate workbook, but that is totally fine. You can just copy and paste any data you want to use directly into this tool, and of course, if you want, you could also add additional sheets to this workbook. Alright, and with that all in place, the only thing we are missing now is the actual email content. So in this tab, you will find the email body. This is just one giant cell. If you double click inside it, you can write your email right here and even style it. That means you can use Excel's built-in formatting options. So you can make the text bold, change the color, underline it, and so on and so forth. And if you want to take it even a step further, you can also use HTML tags. So that means if you want to include an image, you can do that too, just like I did here. But keep in mind, the image has to be uploaded somewhere online, so it won't work with local file paths. Okay, and here in the email body, you will also see our placeholders. We've got the receiver name, the Excel range, and the date. And just like in the subject line, I'm also using spin text here. So the tool will randomly choose hi, hello, or hey for each email. Alright, and with that all in place, we are ready to send out our emails. For that, I will place my Excel file and my email inbox side by side on the screen. So now when I click the send button and confirm this message box here, you will see a progress bar popping up. The tool will now go through each row and send out the messages. And in the status column, it will show whether the email was successfully sent or if there was any error. Once that is done, you will get a notification. Here we can see that sending 10 emails took about 1.5 minutes. Alright, and as a next step, let us actually check out our inbox. Here you can see that all the placeholders were replaced with the actual receiver's name, and the spin text randomly picked different subject lines. Okay, next let's open one of the emails to see what it looks like. Alright, and here you can see that the font weight and color are exactly how we set them in Excel. Additionally, you can see our GIF animation and that all the placeholders were replaced. So we've got the receiver's name, the date, and even our Excel range. Now what's really neat here is that this is an actual table and not an image. That also means it is easier for the receiver to work with the data, as they can simply copy and paste it into their spreadsheet. And if we scroll down a bit, we can see also our attachment. Alright, and with that, let me also show you how you can insert a signature, because currently we only have a plain text. So for that, let's head back to Excel and fill out another row here. This one is gonna be our example for adding a signature. I will update the subject and copy and paste our placeholder values. Okay, and with that ready, let's also change the email body, because right now I've just written a simple signature. So let me remove that, because we are gonna replace it with an HTML signature. Okay, and with that in place, I will go over to the settings sheet and open the settings menu. Here you can actually change a few more things, like how the date placeholder should be formatted. As I mentioned earlier, the tool will automatically detect whether you have entered a date or a range as a placeholder. If it's a date, you can come here and choose how it should be displayed. For example, in my case, I will pick this format here. Next, you can also set how many seconds of delay you want between each email. Additionally, you can also change the font. So here's a big list of all the fonts you can choose from. So for my example, I will pick the good old Comic Sans, and I'm also gonna make the font size a bit bigger. So let's go with 16 pixels. Alright, and now in the next section, you can enable the HTML signature. Once you do that, you will see a space where you can paste in your HTML code. If you don't have one yet, you can use free tools like emailsignatures.com to create one. Now you might be asking if you cannot just simply use the signature that you have already set up in your Gmail account. And unfortunately, that is technically not possible. So if you have already created one signature in Gmail, you will need to convert it into an HTML one and paste it here manually. Alright, and with that done, I will save the settings, close the window and head back to our send list. Here I will mark this row with an X and hit the send button again. Once the email is sent, let's check our inbox. Alright, and here it is. You can see that the font now is a lot larger and we are also using Comic Sans. And at the bottom of the email, you will also see our HTML signature, which even includes images and links. And with that, you have pretty much seen most of the features. Now, if you want to use this tool, you just need three things. First, you need, of course, a Gmail account. And you will want to enter your sender address here in the settings. Secondly, you will also need a Gmail app password. Now, this isn't your regular Gmail login password. It's a separate password you need to create, but don't worry, the setup takes only a few minutes and everything is explained in the documentation. So when you click this button here, it will take you to the quick start video, and that video explains the whole process in detail, including how to create the app password. Lastly, you will also need a license key to activate the tool. Below this video, I have added a link to my website. When you buy the tool, you will get a welcome email with your download link and your license key. Right now, I'm offering this tool as a lifetime deal. That means you only pay once and you can use the tool forever, so you can send out as many emails as you want. Just keep in mind the general sending etiquette, which I have explained in more detail in the documentation. So since this works with your free email account, it is best to use it for emailing people who already know you. That means simply you should only send emails to people who are also expecting your emails. This also means, on the other hand, that this tool isn't really meant for cold outreach or mass spamming. Also, with a free email account, you are usually limited to sending around 500 emails per day. If you need more, you might need to upgrade to a Google Workspace account. Oh, and one last thing. The Gmail Blaster tool works only on Windows and it requires a desktop version of Excel, so it won't work with the Excel web version. Alright, and that's it. Now, if you've got any questions, just let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.